Welcome to the Florida Trail RunnersPodcast. Out in the woods, out in the swamps, down by the Willie Coochie. It started with a podcast, now it's a thing. The Florida Trail Runners. Florida Trail Runners.
All right, here we are with episode 117 of the Florida Trail Runners Podcast. And on this chat, we are swapping the trails for the track. On this chat, we've got Jenoah McKiver and his pro debut at the Millrose Games. And this guy has already had such an awesome career so far, from Big Ten championships while at Iowa. Then he also ran for the University of Florida, to winning World Championship gold and silver at the 2025 World Outdoor Championships in Tokyo. He got silver in the 4x400 and gold in the mixed 4x4. But here we are in 2026 to kick off the new year, and Jenoah, he just made that pro debut with an epic indoor 600 meter at the historic Millrose Games. So with that, hey, let's just jump right into it.
But let's talk 600 meters, the Nike men's 600 meters. So let's keep an eye as they move to the inside, and it's Jenoah McKiver, who competed collegiately at Iowa and Florida. Is he going to take this out one quick, fast first lap at 23:39?
That is fast. You know, we think about the 800 for men. They always talk about the final 200 where they want to pick up the tempo, pick up the speed. So now they don't have to worry about that final 200. They can really go for it. And that's exactly what we're seeing McKiver do here.
As Jewett finds the youngster on his outside shoulder, trying to hold him off.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey, there we go.
Oh, okay. That's smooth.
That's why I'm like, oh, like, you're from Florida. It counts. It counts.
Yeah. Well, I'm not from Florida, but I am in Florida. I stay in Florida. I claim Florida now. I do claim Florida now.
Yeah, like you went to U.S., so it counts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most definitely. I'm usually the sprinter who, like, I'm like the only sprinter who can hang out with both sides, from cross country and like the track and field team. I'm usually the guy who can like fit in with the jumpers, the distance guys. Like last year when I was on the team, I was mainly hanging out with the 800 and cross team. They all lived in like 4 houses on the same street, and I'll be over there like every day. Like you would think I was probably in the 800 group.
Yeah, I guess, you know, obviously you just made your pro debut. You know, how are you feeling from the Millrose Games?
I'm feeling pretty well. It was a great experience, especially for my first pro debut. My first race, the atmosphere was super crazy. I didn't really like the warm up, in which you only got like one lane and one hallway, and then you got another lane. So it's basically a total of 2 lanes that you have to warm up with, like just all these top tier athletes. When I had like stepped on a track or an atmosphere, it just seemed so different that I just never experienced this type of like atmosphere, because how close the fans are to the track. It felt like a basketball game, but track style. It's just so crazy.
Yeah, and I guess like even with like recovery from that, I know for like long distance, a lot of people, you know, the concept of recovery from a race, it's different because, like, you know, I could be sore for a week, but I guess a lot of people really don't think about like the 600, the 400, and those types of distances. The recovery process is definitely different on your side.
Honestly, don't know like the recovery, how it is competing when you're doing like the mile or like the 1,000 and stuff like that. I'm not sure how that recovery and soreness is, but I'm pretty sure it hurts way more or just about or similar ways from other people, depending who the person is. But I'll be honest, this is probably the first time where like I could wake up the next day and was like, felt pretty well. Maybe because I didn't have to run the 4x4 as well. Because in college, I had to run the 4x4, and stuff like that. But it was just changes that you're just trying to get used to, and just making the smart decisions. Like me not going out the night of, since it was my last day in New York. Like I went out with friends to see some friends that I haven't seen in years, but I decided not to drink. Just decided not to just do the bad stuff, you know, just drink water, hydrate, making sure I hydrate, and then get enough rest to get on the flight the next day. But it was just the little things that I wanted to do. Now that like I'm a professional, I just can't make the little mistakes as a young kid, and also just getting older. I'm very cautious in the things I do in order to be prepared for the next practice.
Yeah, that's a good point with the alcohol. I know a lot of people want that beer after they run a race, but like science does say, which I guess is the hard truth, but science does say that hampers it. pretty much kills your gains after a race.
Yeah, most definitely. Like I could say for experience, especially like throughout college, just doing that, and just your body just slowly recover instead of like you don't really get this. You probably think you sleep well, but like your recovery, your heart rate. I have an Oura ring that tracks like my lowest heart rate and everything and tell me how much I recover. So it's just things like that that like I look at now. But like alcohol, I think definitely like plays a toll in that. And I was just looking at my friend. I was like, should I get a drink? And then I was like, nah. He was like, if you're thinking about it, no. And I had a bad experience my last time drinking a few weeks ago. So I was like, I think I'm giving it up for like just a year, maybe for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Uh,
But I guess, we should do some kind of introduction early on in your career in North Carolina, where you grew up, high school. From what I know, you didn't even run track at the start of your career. So I guess take me into that because I know it was like all about football.
yeah, it was. First I start off with like just me, my brother, and my dad who trained us to I feel like he bred us to just be pure athletes. Like of course it was academically like well because my mom handled that part. But on the athletic part, I mainly played football. I played like every sport growing up. People don't know that my favorite sport growing up was actually golf. I just never got the chance to actually play for a team because I feel like you had to have like a lot of money to just buy clubs and train. But golf, my favorite sport. Ended up playing football and basketball. I played mainly football and basketball throughout high school. And then going into my 11th grade year, like just the football season was just going well. I was getting a few offers, and my coach was like, "Hey, like he coached track too. He was like, they don't recruit slow quarterbacks." And he was like, if you want the offers that you want and you want to get looked at more schools and run a faster 40 this summer in camps, you may need to run track in order to like help yourself get more offers. And my brother was already running track. So it's so crazy. My brother was running track like all his years and playing football as well. And I was the guy who just played football and basketball. And then he ended up going to school for football and I ended up going to school for track. So it's kind of like we switched. But he was always bigger than me. And then also it's just that when on my first year, I went out to go run track, 11th grade. I did like every event my first meet. I did the long jump. I did the 4x2. I did the 400 and the 800. I did all that and like just to see where I was or what I could run. Long jump was terrible. 4x2, I got walked. 400 was terrible. The 800 was decent. But it was just a learning experience and I got very competitive, like going into that, and I hated losing. And then after that first race, I went from running 54 my first race, losing to my brother who ran 51, to never losing again after that. After that, I had beat the state champion from the year before, and I ended up running like 49. Like this was like I guess this was like fast times in my area back in the day. But now if you run 49, that's not good. Like high school is running 45, 44. So it was just a different time. But me starting off, it was just for me to get more offers for football and it ended up going well. I went from 54 to like 47 in 1 year and won states in the 200 and 400 and winning that and then winning as a team title too. I know we got second. I just was like, like track is pretty fun when you win it because I didn't have to depend on teammates. So all the work that I put in, it shows itself. And then as a quarterback, I had to like be the person who had to tell the running back all the plays because they didn't want to study the playbook. I had to tell linemen who had to block or pull. So it was just things like that just changed my perspective in the sport of just showing like I put in my own work and I'm going to see my own results.
Yeah, and I think the point, I mean, you kind of mentioned it with your dad. When your dad's that like a coach, or I think he was a coach.
Yeah.
I mean, you learn a lot about the game, the dedication it takes, that discipline. You learn that like really early on.
Yeah, most definitely. It's so crazy. I feel like I don't regret nothing. Like when I tell people like how I grew up and how my dad treated me and my brother, people be like, "Whoa, that's kind of bad. I could never." But like I honestly feel like the way he raised us to respect our elders and to always work for everything and just to always do the extra work if you want to see results. Played a part to me to this day. Where like now, like I have hobbies of just working out whenever I'm bored. I would just go to the gym if I'm bored. So it just things where like he had us leave practice. He would pick us up from practice. We'll go home and he'll make us work out again, make us run around the block. And then when we was like young, friends who knock on the door, we couldn't go outside unless we did our 300 push-ups, 300 sit-ups. It was just little things like that just a huge role, I believe, into like us growing up to be where we was.
It's wild the things that you think about like back in the day that you're like that like it made no sense in the moment, but then as like a person now, you see the character or like the character building that it put.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And I thank my dad to this day, like, hey dad, I really appreciate you. Like, even when I have a kid, I hope my dad, like, the older my dad get, like the more soft he's gotten. He's getting a little bit more soft the older he get, but I really want him to keep that discipline and give that to my kids whenever he able to like meet my kids and everything. Because I feel like I can do the same, but I don't think it would be as replicant as how my dad had us so like ready to like just do things. But I just really loved it. And also like I like that like during commercials. Do you ever know like the thing to make your grip stronger? The thing you gotta like squeeze.
Yeah, that little
It's
squeezy
like a
thing.
V. It's like a V.
Had the spring in the middle.
Yeah, that one exactly. The spring in the middle. So basically, me and my brother would sit down. My dad would have us literally sitting on the couch while we're middle schoolers. Throughout middle school and high school, we sit down and my dad just have us like repping those. Like every commercial come on, we have to do it the whole commercial. And it was just stuff like that just made us so much discipline. Where it got so crazy. Like my dad golf every day. He loved golf. He would come home from work. He'll go golfing in the morning. And even when my dad wasn't there, me and my brother would be on each other about, let's get our workout in. We'll wake up, go ahead and get our push-ups, our sit-ups, get all that out the way, clean up the house, and then we'll be done. And then our dad would come home and be like, did y'all do y'all workout? We'd be like, yeah, we did. And he would not believe us and make us work out again. So it was always stuff like that. That like, we liked it though. So even though we did work out, we would just do it again just because it got to a point. At first we used to hate it. And then over time it was like, no, he just want us to be better. Especially when you start seeing the results.
Yeah, I mean, it pans out because, again, like for you in high school, you only ran one season of track. And in that season, you had like wild times. I guess now might be different with the new generation of kids, but you still went 10:79 in the 100, 21:43 in the 2, and that 47:24 in the 400 meter, which I guess for people who don't really know the sprint side of things, I guess if you compare that to like Tyson Gay, you could throw Usain Bolt in there, but I think like Tyson Gay in high school or that age, he was running 10:46 and 21:43. Bolt, which is far ahead of everybody, but he was 10:03 and 10:13. But even that, like that's
even with the 100. So that 10:07 was like, I was so new to track my first year. I honestly didn't know that I was at regionals and that when I ran the 100, I would have to run it at nationals. I was just running the 100 to see what I could run. And they was like, oh, you ran 10:07, you made it to like nationals or whatever. And I was like, huh? I want to run the 400. So I ended up running the 100 at national 2 and got blistered. I didn't want to run it, so I just jogged it. So I only ran the 100 twice, ran 10:07, and then the second one was like 11:1 because I didn't want to run it. The first time, I was surprised running like 10:07, even my first time because I did not have blocks at all. Like my start was terrible. Even when I look back, I just look like the kid who just hit a growth spurt, which I did just hit a growth spurt and didn't have control of my body. So from sophomore year to my junior year, I was 5'4" going into my sophomore year. Into my sophomore year, I was 5'10", and then going into my 11th grade year, I had hit like 6 foot. So to grow like 6 to 8 inches in just a span of a year, I had knee problems and I was just not coordinated and just trying to figure out my body. So I was glad that I did run track because I was able to like learn and be coordinated with my height at the time too.
Dang, yeah, that changes everything. Like your gait totally changes.
Yeah, and I was always like a fast kid in middle school until I went through like some injuries. I had broke my right ankle, came right back. A month after I came back, I had broke my left ankle. So I was out for about a year and like from 8th to 9th grade and had got chubby. So imagine like short and chubby, and then I finally hit a growth spurt and got skinny. It was just like a weird era for me and throughout like my life in high school.
I mean, I was a skinny little cross country and track kid. So it it all buffs out eventually. But yeah, I mean, like after high school, I know you started at Iowa State, which I think that was with Coach Woody and Coach
Wake night, yeah.
Wake night. Yeah, yeah. Like, so how was it at Iowa State? Like, how was that transition going from high school to the NCAA?
It was a nice transition, I'll say. Especially like I give them praise, and I don't think I'd be here today if it wasn't for them. So they the ones that gave me the chance or opportunity to even come to college. Because people don't really notice, but I had like almost tore my Achilles. I strained my Achilles 12th grade because I was playing basketball and started indoor track. End up training my Achilles. First, I injured it in the basketball game, and then later I had states for indoors my 12th grade year. And with that Achilles injury, I just sat out the rest of the basketball season being like, I think track is my sport right now, and I'm going to run at states. And then ran at states, ended up training my Achilles mid-race. And I ended up finishing the race with the trained Achilles and won. I was just on so many pain medicines because I knew something was wrong with my Achilles, and it finally just gave out. And then I finished the race. But Coach Woody and Wake Night, they gave me the opportunity to say, you really ran 1 year of track. You're new to this. The way you run, you have so much potential with the length you have and just the year that you just ran. So they just gave me the chance to just come in. They gave me a full ride. Some schools like stopped talking to me after my injury. I ended up losing football offers. I really wanted to go to school for football, but they gave me the opportunity, kept their word, and decided to take my talent to Iowa. And I feel like it was a great decision, especially with the class that came in Iowa. I felt like that era we had put Iowa on the map, and it was just like going pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely panned out because like I know you had 2 Big Ten titles, the 400 meter and the 4x4.
We had one conference also like 2 years in a row and everything. We had 3 400 runners in the final, one indoors. When Florida had 3 in the final, we had 3 in the final. So it was like a big battle between us and Florida too at the time. That was funny.
Which, of course, eventually you go into the portal and then you end up in Florida to the SEC. Being the swing of the podcast is Florida. But what was it like at the University of Florida? Because I noticed you really started to break out into the 4x4, and then you moved up to the 800 meter.
Yeah. So I always been like the 400 runner who would be like a 4.8 guy. I'm not the 4.2 type of person. Just because my history. I've been through 8 hamstring tears. Coaches at Iowa and then the coaches here always knew the history of my hamstring, so they always kept me away from speed and everything. I'm usually the type that I'm last in spikes. I usually don't do blocks until the week of the meet. But just with that, I was always a person with a lot of endurance as well. So it wasn't as hard. I never hated the 800, in which I am running the 800 this year as well.
So I wasn't going to bring up the hammy, but yeah, because obviously you just started a new season, but like you just said, you had 8 tears, and at one point you managed to have 2 tears?
Yes, at once. That was probably my last one. The last one I tore it twice in one day. It was pretty funny. Like, I was doing a broken quarter for the first time ever. Coach Holloway never made me do broken quarters, which was like a 200, which I have that tomorrow actually for the first time. I had a 200, and right before I was getting in the blocks, he was like, "You're not hurt. Get out your head. Believe in yourself. You're a talented person. You're not hurt. Your hammies are fine. Your hammies are okay. Stop thinking you're injured." And I was like, yeah. Like, he had gave me the boost, the energy. I was like, okay, I got this. Boom. I shoot out the blocks, and then coming off the curve, like the first, like at 120, I felt the first one. I just felt the pull in my hamstring. I was like, no way. And then at the same time, I was like remembering what Coach Holloway said. And I was like, forget that. I'm going to just pain through it. Even though it's practice, I'm just running through it. Because it got to the point where I've been through so many hamstring tears that they didn't feel like tears no more. They just felt like I was just so used to them because I was just used to the pain. And I just kept going. I went through 3 more steps. After 3 more steps, I just kept running hard. And then I felt another one in a different spot. And I'm like, no way. And I just shut it down after that. And I just screamed. I not screamed. I just yelled and then walked inside.
Yeah, and it's I know with the hamstring, sometimes it's not even the hamstring at all. It could be the back, the hips, go straight to the calves, the ankles. There's a lot of things that can play a role with that muscular skeletal system.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, most definitely. Especially just learning. It wasn't, Coming to find out, that's one of the reasons why I did transfer to Florida was to not only figure out my hamstrings, but like to just get better training or just to see different trainers, just to see who can understand my body. And then coming here, I've seen many specialists and trainers, and come to find out, it was never like my hamstrings being weak. It was the fact that my ankle mobility was weak, my glute was never activating, and my lower back was weak. So it would just put more pressure in the middle, which was my hamstrings. So they were just been overcompensated and just overused, causing them to like wear and tear.
I guess from what I understand with anatomy, when it comes to like the back and the pelvis and that kind of area, the hamstrings attached to that, I think it's called the ischial tuberosity or something like that. And I think that's what people consider to be the sit bone on the pelvis, which basically that means the pelvic position equals that hamstring length. So when we talk about like the anterior pelvic tilt, which could be considered the arched lower back of the hamstrings, it kind of makes it pre-stretched. And that's what makes it at a higher risk of a strain. And then there's the posterior pelvic tilt, which that's like the tucked pelvis. And then that's when the hamstrings are shortened, which kind of brings a reduced elastic output. But a lot of that stuff comes into play with your hamstrings.
Yeah. Even like with that, this is the most I ever learned about like my hamstrings too. Like even through injuries and everything, I just learned so much just from like these injuries. So now when people have injuries, they always come up to me and be like, "Hey, what you do for your hamstring? What you do for your hamstring?" And I'm like the guy who's like, I guess I'm the hamstring bandit, so I'm the hamstring coach. So whenever somebody have a problem, I'm like, "Hey, you can do this, that," and just things like that. And then also I learned that like just avoiding like fried foods and avoiding certain things that will keep your hammies inflamed or like the scar tissues. Cause like when people have injuries, they start to feel bad. And that was me too. So whenever I had injuries, I'll feel sad and eat my pain away. And you can't really do that. Like just eating sweets and then fried foods and stuff would just keep the muscle inflamed and not let it heal the proper way. So it was just a matter of just learning that too.
Yeah, that's interesting. Did you ever get any nerve damage from all of this? Like sciatic nerve or anything in your leg that you just can't feel?
That's crazy that you asked that. I dealt with I tore a disc in my back last year, and now I have sciatic. I have nerve damage now to this day from my back injury that happened this past year.
Good Lord.
Basically, last year, trap bar deadlifts, like beginning of the year, it was 2024 December. Basically, it was like last season. It was one of them things where like my year was going real, fall training going perfect. I'm lifting the most I ever lifted in my life. I'm having a great fall training, and I'm in the weight room lifting so much. I think it was like 415 or something I was deadlifting, trap bar deadlift. And my back went out. Like it didn't go out in a bad way. I just felt something burn. It was just like a burn in my back. I didn't think nothing of it at the time, but I just dropped the weight and I just like went on, finished on my lift, even though everything felt painful. Like one of them back pains, you can just be like, okay, go away in like 2 to 3 days. And that's what I thought would happen. I was just thinking that it would just go away in 2 to 3 days, and it never did. It was just bad. I went home for break, and it just felt even worse. I went home for break. I'm sitting down. I can't sit down at Christmas table. It's just super painful. It got to the point where like I'm just walking, and I feel the nerve shooting from like the top of my glute all the way down to my ankle on top of my foot. And I was just dealing with that for like every day throughout January. And whenever you see me walk, I'll walk with my head slightly up, or I will look all the way up when I walk. Because whenever I walk and look down, the nerve would just pull more, and it would just be painful. And then I never went to the doctor or anything because training was just going well. And I opened up, ran the 600 yard, ended up breaking the collegiate record in that. 2 weeks later, opened up in the 400, ran 45-1, and then split 44-1, was like the third all time at the time. And the coach was like, yeah, like I have the back, like my back hurting, so I'm never really bringing it up. Like I get treatment, but they're like, we keep it to a minimum. Like you're still running great. Like the season's going great. Like nothing can get better. Like everything was just going well. Then the week after I ran that 45-1, I'm at practice, and something crazy happened. Like my leg just completely go numb. Like my right leg go completely numb. I'm like, coach, am I running funny? Like I can't feel my right leg. It was like, what? It was like, yeah, you look good. And then Coach Holloway heard me talking to Welty and was like, you're fine. Stop talking about your leg. Just go to the next rep. I did it again. I was like, Coach, I can't feel my right leg. And he was like, that's good. That means you can't feel pain. And I'm like, no, no. This is different. Like, they know me as like a person who like, I'm used to injuries. Like, I honestly feel like something different is going on. And I finished practice. Actually, that same day of practice, I run the hundreds and I ended up tearing my hamstring because my right leg couldn't keep up with my left leg because I couldn't feel it. So it was just like I was just pulling my leg. That's when it was like, okay, let's go get an x-ray. Let's go get it looked at, blah, blah, blah. I ended up going to go get it looked at. They was like, whoa, you have a bowed disc and your L5, the disc is out and it's pinching the nerve and so on and so on. And I was like, what am I going to do about this? And then there was like, we're going to see what we can do. A few weeks later, I ended up getting an epidural because they was like, let's wait and see if the feeling can come back just from treatment or rehab. It never's come back, so we tried an epidural. That helped some, but not all the way. I ended up getting 2 epidurals last season. And with that, the doctor was like, because I was asking the doctor because I was scared. I was like, hey, I can't dorsiflex on my right leg. I don't have really feeling. It hurt to walk, everything. It's just everything is painful. I can't sleep. It's ruining everything for me. I just like, it was like, the doctor just kept it real with me. They was like, hey, we don't know how long this would take. Sometimes it can take up to 30 years. Sometimes this can just stay with you forever. And with that, I was just like, I didn't want to be defeated at the same time with them just telling me like, hey, your career can be ended. So I ended up shutting down my indoor season. Me and the coaches talked and like, hey, we can try outdoors. So I ended up getting 1 more epidural. So I got 2. I got the second one right before outdoors. And decided to compete 1 more time in April, my birthday, to run the 4x4, and it went pretty well. Split 45, and I was like, yo, like I'm coming back, but like I still have pain in my back. Like when we travel on planes, I'm in pain. Like I'm wearing stuff on my back. I'm trying everything. I started taking muscle relaxers, and I got addicted to that. That was like another story of me getting addicted to muscle relaxers. So I was just going to therapy for already my hamstrings, and on top of that, going to therapy because I got addicted to like taking these inflammation pills and muscle relaxers, just feeling good at the time. And it was just a lot of crazy stuff like that that just went on in my career in like 2025, which was like last year was like the craziest career. Like, and move on. I'm dealing with all this pain in my back. And that's when it goes to like my sciatic is damaged and everything. And then I'm doing rehab helping some that just do core. I would just do core every time in rehab, and we wasn't really targeting my back, so I wasn't really seeing the difference. And then moving forward, I went to right the week before nationals. The day before leaving to nationals, we have like jogging stride and just some runs in the grass, and I ended up training my quad the day before leaving to nationals. Like this is my back getting better and everything. And I finally get to like almost, I wouldn't say healthy, but like to the best of where my back was feeling during the last outdoor season. And I ended up training my quad the day before leaving the Natties. And I ran at nationals and get dead last. I got dead last at nationals, which was like so embarrassing to me because like I knew people knew it was hurt, but at the same time, I just hate that like my senior season went like that. And after that, I thought my career was over, and me and the coaches wasn't on good terms at the time. I'm like, should I go back home to move back to North Carolina? I'm like, I want my dream to go pro for track is out of reach now, like, and everything. And then something just told me like, hey, go talk to Coach Holloway. Like, just give me 1 more chance. So I come to practice because he didn't text me the practice times. So this is everybody practicing for the for USAs after like NCAAs. And I go to his office. He wasn't in there. Coach Welty see me. She said, the man you want to talk to is outside. It was like with an attitude and stuff. She was like, the man you want to talk to is outside. So I go outside. I go walk to him. He see me walking to him, but he act like he don't see me. I finally get to him. I'm like, hey, Coach, like, what's the plan? I was like, hey, can I try to get ready for USAs? And he just looked at me with a puzzled face and was like, what is going to be the difference from NCAAs to USAs? Like, they're basically a month and a half apart or 2 months apart. Like, what is going to be the difference? Like, and I'm like, Coach, just give me a chance. I'm gonna work my butt off to get back. Like, I got a month and a half or so to get back right. He was like, how did you even get hurt? And I was like, it was just a freak mistake. I was just doing strides in the grass and my quad just went. I guess, like, while warming up, it just went. I was just like, one of them freak accidents. And he was just puzzled. And he was like, he was like, I've been embarrassed all year. I don't want to get embarrassed no more. So at that point, I'm like, okay, he about to say no. He was like, let me just think about it. I'm gonna go talk to Welty after this. I was like, I'm gonna talk to Welty and we'll just text you sometime this week. I didn't hear from him maybe the whole week. I talked to him that Tuesday, and then I heard back from Coach Welty that Sunday and was like, hey, practice tomorrow at this time. Don't be late. Like at that point, they was like strict on me. They was like, I guess because they were disappointed in me. Like I knew this was my year to win NCAAs, but at the time I just disappointed them because a freak accident happened and just the back injury and everything would just hold me back from training. But they gave me that opportunity. And I took advantage of it. I was just training my butt off every day, going to practice. The first week and a half, like just from the quad injury, I was limping. I was just still trying to get my quad better. At the same time, going to rehab and everything, just trying to figure out ways to get better. And I took it day by day. Ended up running in one small meet I ran like 45.0. I was like, yo, like I still got it. Like I know I got more than me. Like that's from like 3 weeks of training after a quad injury. Like I know I got it. I can do it. And then coach was like satisfied with that. He was like, you can still work on this, that. And then I guess 2 weeks later, decided to go to USA's. And I decided to go to USA's and then ended up making the team. I got 5th. And by that, I ended up making the team, and then the rest was like history. Just going to USA's and everything with just the injuries and the ups and downs. But I just felt like 2025 was just like a big year for me and a big drop for me at the same time, in which people really don't know the backstory of how I even got there, but they just see me on TV. But I just went through so many sacrifices and things with just injuries and just giving me the confidence to just go out there to talk to Coach Holloway just really changed my life to put me into the position that I am now. So it's either like me and Holloway got like a love-hate relationship. It's really love. So he really hard on me. So like I love the fact that he did like give me them hard times in order for me to understand like if you really want to do this, you got to make sacrifices.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I feel like the sprint side of things, it's ruthless. And I guess, if you could take me into the training, I mean, I was always a long distance guy, but I guess what does the training look like on your side of things? What does that kind of look like for you?
For me, it was always different. For example, even though I was in college and with the college group, I still practiced and trained mostly by myself. Because I was like a 4'8" guy, so I would usually do like stuff like 600, 500, 400s. Sometimes I would do like 2 800s and then go down to some shorter stuff. So, it was just Coach Holloway and Coach Welty just figuring out the best things for myself and my body, that helped for me. I was usually the type that would never be in blocks or do the short sprints and stuff, but he figured that if my endurance is there, then my speed would just come from racing.
Yeah, I guess the endurance, I mean, that's a good point because I think most people listening to this podcast, endurance is all they do with like the 50K and 100-mile. But more for you, are there endurance traits that you feel like gave you an advantage in that like short to mid distance racing?
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like what people lack is that last 100 or really that 200 to 300. And with me, with just my endurance, the foot speed would just come naturally or just come with just the racing and just the stuff we do on meet week. I'll say that like I can stay at a pace longer than others can stay at their top speed. So I'll be able to, maybe I'm not as fast as you, but I'll be able to hold my top speed maybe a second or two longer than you, which played a big role in just the 400 itself. So
Yeah,
say for if people died at like 320, I'll probably die at 333, and that's just a huge difference than others.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's interesting, like the 4x4, the 400 meter, the 600 meter, and so on. Like for me, I always struggle with throttling my pace and figuring out where I need to go because I kind of jump around. But I guess maybe like how does pacing or, work for you in that shorter distance? Is it like sit and kick, ride the field, or as Johnny Gray would say, into that gray zone?
That's funny. I would say last year was like a learning experiment for me because some races, Coach Holloway would tell me to kick at the 200, so it'd be more speed and then kick early. And then what worked best for me, I believe, was just ride somebody or just be able to hold my not my top speed, but hold a good speed from like 1 to 250 and then kick at the end. But I was able to have so much endurance where like I will still have a kick. Even though I'm running at my top speed, I will have like another gear to hold on for like from 300 to 350. Because I honestly don't think nobody can get faster. Coach always said nobody can get faster that last 100. It's just who can maintain it and control it.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people think it's all about that power and explosiveness without really tipping the scale. But it really does come down to a lot of endurance.
Oh yeah, most definitely, especially with the 4 now. Even though it's called like an off sprint now because the 800 is turning into like almost a sprint. It's just who can hold that top speed the longest in a way, just from like, or who can hold the lactate. And I believe that like my genes helped me a lot in a way. Just because my height, my endurance, I'll say.
Yeah, and I guess you kind of touched up on it earlier with USAs because obviously, you qualified for the national team. And I know 2025, as you mentioned too, like that year, so many ups and downs. Still a huge year with the World Championships in Tokyo. You came home with a gold medal and a silver medal.
It was a rewarding year for me in which everything that I went through, I felt like it didn't get put into the trash or put in the past in a way, I say. Just from what all I went through, I feel like the work that I put in behind closed doors and everything did pay off from me coming back from things I don't think many others would come back from to getting a gold medal and silver medal. It was just like not giving up in the time. I feel like some people would give up, especially after 8 hamstring tears. I don't think many people would come back from that or just want to give up the sport, but I didn't want to give up and I just kept wanting to work for it because I believe that all the work I put in, I did not want to put it to waste, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's funny because earlier today I was just watching that where you had to do the rerun against the Kenyan team.
Oh yeah, that was pretty funny. Like that was pretty interesting. Like especially like us not finding out until 1 a.m. Even after that race, we had put it in the past. I mean, the older people on the team, like Vernon, Wright, Benjamin, all of them was like, "Hey, just put that in the past. I can't do nothing about it. It happened. It's Saturday. Go have fun." So after that race, we was getting ready to go out that night because it's Saturday. We was like, we in Japan. We just can't like dwell on it, even though we just let USA down. We getting ready to go out and we get a message on Teamworks like, "Hey, make sure y'all get recovery. We got a rerun in the morning." And it's already 1 o'clock. Like we were heading downstairs to go out. And then we like, I turned around to go get treatment. I didn't end up going to bed until almost 2 o'clock because I had to get treatment. And also with that, it was just that we had to wake up so early. We had to wake up at 7 because the bus was at 7:45. So coming back with barely any sleep, as you can see in the pictures or photos or videos, maybe you can see the bags under my eyes and how tired we just looked in general. To just come back and run and give our team a chance to even get a medal. So I just really like that we did give them a chance because there was some people who was dependent on that money and dependent on like running the finals.
I mean, it looked on the video, you guys were smooth cruising.
I felt like when I had the stick, I already had the lead. I just wanted to maintain it and then just bring it home, give the team opportunity.
Which, I mean, obviously, it all panned out.
It did. It did.
But yeah, I mean, I guess coming into this year, 2026, it's a different mindset now because now it's not really, you're not representing a school anymore. So coming into, it's early in 2026, obviously at the Millrose, you just rocked a 1:14.77.
I would say I was shooting for maybe a better time than that, but I'm just grateful and happy that I was capable and just able to even run in the first place, and just be healthy. I've always been through a lot these past couple of years, just dealing with injuries and stuff. But for me to like just start training over Christmas break and have a month of training and able to drop a 114, I wasn't able to do that unless it was like 2 to 3 races in, even when I was running on a 300 track back at Iowa. And then for me to just open up with it has given me like a lot of confidence going on into the season.
Yeah, I guess if you can take me into that, because I feel like it really is different now when it's your pro debut. So like that vibe of representing the school, the United States, you're really out there at this race. Like you're out there to represent yourself and what you've got.
It was totally different, just traveling by yourself, not traveling with a team. You having to warm up without a coach. You having to know what time you got to warm up. You having to go eat. Not having a nutritionist tell you what to eat and when to eat is a big difference as well. And just, just having a room to yourself and just having all these thoughts and not having teammates around you who are very supportive but have to be supported through the phone now is totally different and mind-blowing. And I feel like just with the atmosphere too, whenever I came out there, it was like an experience that I never had before. because you don't usually have, like, for us in Florida, we have that teammates, we have our student section where, like, they're just cheering you on. But now you got people in the stands that just go and root for, like, the biggest name people in your heat and everything. So it was like a big difference. And then when I stepped out there, I felt like a shell. Honestly, like, the nerves that I got was, like, way different than the nerves I got anywhere else, like at USA's. My nerves were, like, just totally different. I felt like I was like a shell and couldn't really feel my body just because it was, like, just experiencing this new atmosphere.
Yeah, and I guess for those who don't know what the Millrose Games is, I mean, it's essentially one of the most prestigious indoor track events in the country. It was founded in 1908, so I think that's like 118 years ago. But for you, I mean, I guess what's that mindset coming into such a prestigious event for your debut? You know, obviously you've been putting in the work.
I mean, I just say I'm blessed to even just have the opportunity to get into the meet and to run and compete with this great field that I was in. Like, you can't forget about the names like Isaiah Jewett as well and River Ray, who are, like, also all good people. I mean, there was others who ran 144 in the 800 who was in the race. So for me to, like, even get accepted into the meet and have the opportunity to run and just showcase what I was capable of really just was a blessing in disguise, honestly, for me.
Yeah, because I was going to say that 600-meter lineup was pretty stacked with, I mean, you had Cooper, he was a 142 800-meter guy.
Mhm.
Isaiah, who you just mentioned, he's pretty diverse from 200 to 1500. He's gotten 114 in a 600 before. Luciano, a solid 800-meter, 1000-meter guy. John Riviera from Puerto Rico, he's got the national record. I think it's for like 800-meter short track. And then one of the other guys, Will, he's another 800-meter to 1000-meter guy. But it's like you were kind of the only guy that focuses more on that 400 to 4x4 range.
Yeah. So, like, I knew that, and then going into the field, I was like, geez, I just know they wanted me to lead it, or I felt like I was going to be the rabbit either way, which I knew I was because I don't think any of them were going to take it out at like 47 anyway. My plan was to take it out at 46, but then I realized I'm not on a 300 track, so try not to take it out that fast, and unless my finish is going to look even worse. But I knew none of them were going to probably go out with 47, or close enough, and they were just going to ride behind me. And going into the race, I just know that, like, if I don't have a kick, I'm getting walked either way. So I just need to run the first good forward to have a good lead in order to keep a good standard if I can place. And that was like my goal going in, to just see what I can do and just hold on, just see where training been in this last month to get me where I needed to be.
Yeah, and I guess take me into that, because I feel like this is a moment that a lot of people really, they've never experienced before. What's it like to be at the start line on a track at the Millrose Games?
It was crazy, honestly. Like, even just being in lane 6, I know my nerves were kind of up. So even when they said on your mark, I'm gonna be honest, my foot was nowhere near the line. I was probably like 2 footsteps away from the line that I needed to be. But I know how I am whenever, like, your nerves are up there and you get to the line, you could easily false start or jump over the line and your foot step on the line. I didn't really want none of that. So I was, like, so far away from the line to be cautious on the start. And then when they shot the gun and I started it like 50 meters in, coming off the curve, like, everybody is like on a rail. Like, literally, if I just stick my hand out, I can easily just touch everybody on the line that was like right there on the rail. They were just so close, like breathing on your face. But it was like a nice experience. Like, it was just like a basketball game, but in track form.
Yeah, and I guess if we can go into the 600-meter, like, when do you make moves? You know, how did it go from the start, 200 meters in, 400 meters in, coming into that back stretch into the finish?
For me, what I was thinking, or what happened in the race, was basically get to the cut first, stay in the front and not see nobody the whole race. But in the race, coming off that first 150 and the curve coming home, I seen like 20 point when I came off and I was like, okay, I'm moving a little too fast. So I decided to slow down some before I went through the first 200. Ended up going through the 200 at 23. And from there, I just wanted to maintain and keep my arms. Basically, they just practice what I practice at practice. Just maintain form, stay tall, and don't try to break. And then on the second lap, just focus on arms for my legs and just keep hitting the ground at a decent momentum. And then when I came around 47, I seen like 47 high or 47 mid. That's when I pressured it a little bit more coming off the curve. Going into that last 150, I decided to like push a little bit more, but I think I pushed a little early. And then with that, I felt Cooper. Well, you can hear the fans chanting or just talking when somebody's coming up on you. But I heard I felt Cooper come out on the side of me was like 60 left, 60 or 70 left. And from there, it was, okay, yeah, 800 runners. There's no way I'm going to outkick them or anything. So at this point, just maintain form and stay strong. I mean, that was my goal and focus at that point. It wasn't no like just go for the win and just blah, blah, blah. It was more so like maintain my form and practice what coach told me.
Yeah, and that's what's wild, especially on the shorter side. Like those final 20 or so meters, you can feel how your body is moving at such a wild level.
I would say I tripped up some like on the curve, like my arms got wide, and right when I came up the curve, I was like, okay, I know my coach is going to get on me, so let me just work on what I need to work on. And from there, just practicing with my arms going up and down.
Second behind Cooper, and for a new personal best at Millrose, that's a pretty solid way to kick off your pro debut and I guess the 2026 year.
I'm totally excited about it. I'm happy about what I did just with like the month of training that I did have. I felt like it was a good start to my career. I'm just excited to move forward and just see what I can do from that, because every time I run a 600, it's only going to make the 400 smaller.
Yeah, and I guess, knowing you're in this type of fitness at this point, and I guess we can start to close it out with, like what's next? What's next on that 2026 calendar year?
What's next for me is I'll be going to Arkansas in 2 weeks. Well, next week to open up. And after that, it would just be USAs. I'm not really running much meets indoors to prepare for outdoor, if I can start traveling and getting ready for outdoors, but just to maintain and just start focusing. Because with me and Coach Holloway, we have a nice plan going on where we want to peak at the right time. And basically, like, we run it indoors, but we know that's not our goal is to peak or run well indoors. We're just going to use it for momentum in order to be where we can be later on outdoor season, which is I believe in him and he believes in me. And I believe that he's going to have me at the best spot as I can when it comes to outdoor championships. But this year is not really no team this year. It's more so just the ultimate championship. So just when it comes down to the outdoors team, outdoor season, it's more so like getting into the meets that I need to get into in order if I can get the highest ranking and highest points for I can be able to perform at those meets. Yeah, I would love to come back and update you how I do, especially after this indoors, and then like probably like after the first outdoor meet. That'd be nice too.
Yeah, I feel like it's always cool to hear about, especially what you feel.
Yeah, and just like the experience, the perspectives of different people. It's always nice. And I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm glad you were able to hop on.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. And let me know if you have any questions. And moving forward, I can like just shoot me a text.
Yeah, for sure. Sweet.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Welcome to the Florida Trail RunnersPodcast. Out in the woods, out in the swamps, down by the Willie Coochie. It started with a podcast, that's the thing. The Florida Trail Runners.
And there we have it for episode 117 of the Florida Trail Runners Podcast. Or I guess for this one, we could just call it the Florida Track Runners Podcast. It was great to hear about the Millrose Games, that 600 meter, the history, and just to hear about Jenoah's career thus far. It's always an honor to be able to share and hear these stories from the ups and downs and beyond. So with that, there we have it. Until next time, happy trail.
Out to the East Coast, Daytona, Jacksonville, Pioneer Trail. On a single trail, running 1 to 100 miles, 8 station to 8 station all around. The Florida Trail Runner. Hit dirt where the palm trees sway. Mossy oaks, palmetto, pines, and cypress knees. All grass bending, go find your way. Swarm mist rising, every step I take, I feel it flow. Beach sunrises, beach sunsets, sugar sand all around. From the Swanee River to the St. John's, from Crystal River and the Rainbow Springs, Weeki, Watchee, and Manatees, and the Everglades, and Lake Okeechobee. It's sticky, but I love this game. From the Panhandle down to the Keys, running free where the world feels at ease. Florida trails take me higher, through the pines and palmetto. The mission to Florida Trail Runner. Oh, the state of trail runner. Near and far, Florida Trail Runner. Florida is the home. Out in the woods, out in the swamps, down by the Lake Coachee. It started with a project, now it's a thing. The Florida Trail Runner. I see the skunk case chasing me down. I'm doing the long haul, running all over town. Aid station to aid station, I see the skunk case chasing me down. I'm doing the long haul, running all over town. Starting in the north, Tallahassee. Starting Central Florida, Tampa, Ocala, Orlando, Dade City. Green Swan, headed down south, headed to the Keys, Lake to Ocean, Miami. Out to the East Coast, Daytona, Jacksonville, Pioneer Trail. Florida Trail RunnersPodcast.